Hi, welcome to the NBA show. My name is Morten Jensen, and today we're discussing how to build the perfect player. This is a question old as time, essentially. How do you build the best NBA basketball player? Numerous attempts have been made from people and fans by simply saying, well, we want the hands of this player, the legs of this player, and so on and so on. And I want in. So let's get this show on the road. Let's start with the mind. I want a guy who can think the game out, who can think ahead of the play. Larry Bird. This is a man who just understood time and flow and defenses. He could read defenses like a book, like a small pixie book. It was nothing. He looked 3 or 4 plays ahead. It was outstanding. So definitely that guy's mind and killer instinct, honestly, right in there. Now let's go to height, because height is one of those things that is pretty difficult to gauge, because what do you want? Do you want a center? Do you want a point guard? Do you want a wing? Well, based on today's NBA, I want a wing. I want someone who's about 6'8", 225 pounds, and athletic as all hell. So let's go straight into athleticism. One of the people often mentioned in this category is Chicago's Zach LaVine. I'm going to go with a former Chicago Bulls shooting guard named Michael Jordan. Maybe you've heard of him. Because we never really seemed to grasp just how athletic Michael really was. It was not just a vertical leap. It was how he moved laterally. It was how he would contort his body in the air and still have time to finish on the other side of the basket during a jump where he took off from outside the key. It was ridiculous. So if you put that into that whole package, it becomes unpredictable by nature. Just those two aspects alone, having someone of that size, with Larry's mind and Michael's athleticism, I think by now we already have an all-star, right? Well, let's go further. Hands. There's really only 2 candidates in play here. Chris Webber and Kawhi Leonard. Now most would say Giannis Antetokounmpo has extremely large hands, and that's true, but he isn't as comfortable with them as Webber or Leonard. Now, Webber was just instrumental in the Kings' success in the early 2000s, especially from the post. Kawhi, as a wing player, has full control of that ball because he can palm it the way that he can. This is a very difficult one for me, so I want to cheat a little bit and say, well, the right hand is Kawhi's and the left one is Webber. Why not? It might be a little bit asymmetrical, but I don't care, it's my player. That brings us to feet and footwork. Like, you may think, who has great feet in today's game? Like, Jason Tatum is definitely one example, but we have the entire pool of NBA players from start to finish at our disposal here. You can really go one way here, and that's Hakeem Olajuwon. Not just because of the dream shake, even though that's right already there, it's a huge component, but this guy could attack from the outside and in. He was a 7-footer who just understood how to place his feet at the right angles at the right time to punish his defender. Just ask David Robinson. So yeah, going with Hakeem on the footwork. Put that into Michael and Larry and both Kawhi and C-Web's combination that we already have brewing, and that becomes a very devastating option. Next up is wingspan. And many of you might go, well, that's Bol Bol or Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yeah, sort of. You could go that direction, absolutely. But the thing is, we also want this guy to be able to shoot. And if you have a very long wingspan, the odds are you are going to be less effective as a shooter, as guys with short wingspans, like J.J. Redick, have a more compact shooting release, thus making them more effective shooters. But since we're building an all-around player, we still want that defensive versatility a wider wingspan provides. So as such, let's just go with a 7-foot wingspan. That's not any specific one player that we're stealing from, but we're giving that player a wingspan of that caliber. Remember, our guy right now is 6'8", 225. A wingspan of 7 feet, that's plus 4 inches. That's fine, we'll live with that. Now let's move on to shooting. Yeah, all right, you already know, right? Should we just move on? Do I even need to mention his name? Steph Curry. Who do you think I was picking here, Steve Kerr? Come on, get over yourself. Let's move on. Finally, let's talk defense. And who can you go with here? There are so many options. You can go with Russell as the interior defender, Garnett as the interior to slightly perimeter-oriented defender. I'm gonna go with Scottie Pippen though. And I realize I'm putting the Jordan and Scottie combo in there, but you know what? They won 6 rings. I'm okay with it. Scottie Pippen is undoubtedly one of the most talented defenders we've ever seen. He was able to guard the post. He was able to guard point guards. He would switch over to centers. He could do everything in between. He stole the ball. He blocked shots. He challenged shots at the rim, from the outside, everywhere. He was one of the most devastatingly effective defenders of all time in whatever capacity you wanted to use him in. And given that our player is 6'8", 225, that actually aligns pretty well with Scottie Pippen, especially with the 7-foot wingspan as well. Plus, great hands, yeah, that's Scottie. Great feet, also Scottie. Now that's my way of looking at a perfect NBA player. One thing is that we have the individual talent, but most of these guys have also won something. Maybe Chris Webber notwithstanding. Sorry, Chris. But that's an incredibly talented player from both a physical and mentality perspective that we've just built. Am I wrong? I certainly could be, but I definitely think this guy could dominate for ages. Let me know what you think.